I was thinking that we're anyways going to be indoors for 21 days. So why not celebrate? Why not celebrate looking good and dressing up and going somewhere as though I'm going for a party? That's how we should set the tempo for everyone. Have a little party of our own. Okay. So this is what we're going to do now. Do you know what is the basic reason why a lot of us are feeling this? One of the prime reasons is that a lot of us tend to pick up a lot of emotions from people around us. What did you feel when you watched that movie Tare Zameen Pe? You know, when the child was being separated from the mother. Yeah, it feels heavy, it feels sad. And what happens when you watch a movie like Three Idiots and at the end the baby was delivered? What is that feeling that comes up? Yeah, there's a lot of emotion that probably comes up on that point of time. So that basically shows that we tend to continuously pick up emotions from people all around us. These feelings may not even belong to us, but we make them personal because we get impacted by these various feelings. So the first thing we need to do is to acknowledge and know that this is not even ours. It's not a feeling that belongs to me. So you say return it to the sender with consciousness attached. It continues to lighten your energies. It continues to make you aware, and in your mind you start knowing that everything that is there is actually not mine. This itself is a great activity that you can probably do 3 times a day. When you wake up in the morning, when you're in the afternoon, as well as in the evening. This helps you to offload a lot of emotions that you kind of pick up from others or you have somehow come in contact with. The next thing is that I want to speak about is a lot of people have this question that what do I do at home? I am bored. I can't seem to cope up with the things around me. I can't handle the people around me. I don't know what to do with the relationships, or I'm having these fights with people around me. So this is the feeling that probably people tend to go through also. So this reminds me of this quote by Nelson Mandela, and it says that there was no end and no beginning. There is only one's own mind which can begin to play tricks. So basically, him saying that it is your own mind that begins to kind of play on you, and that mind is what needs to start being worked on. When you're coming into contact with a lot of people around, so let me begin with relationships. You may be coming into contact with a lot of people around you, your friends, your family, your family mainly. And these family people may have certain point of views about the way you live your life. They may have certain judgments, or they must have had these judgments for a very, very long period of time right now. And what troubles you is that you don't know how to handle the judgments. And that continues to solidify. In order to make this much lighter for yourself, in order to change this energy of what do I do with these judgments that are being thrown at my face, there is a sentence. It is interesting point of view. Interesting point of view. They have this point of view. Now, what does this actually do? The air around us, we can't see it because the molecules are separated. Do you know why can you see the wall which is behind me? Science students, people, would you know why can you see the wall behind me? Anyone knows the answer to that? Yeah, so my son says because it's solid. But yeah, so it's solid and the molecules are together. Yeah. So because the molecules are together, the wall is solid. And that's exactly what happens when we continue to buy the point of views from anybody else. When somebody tells you that, why don't you move your ass? Or why don't you basically start getting something done around the house? Or you are sleeping all day, or whatever point of view that they throw at you. uh, or why you sad. You can be doing something better with your time at home. When these point of views start coming up, what you need to do is say in your mind, interesting point of view, they have this point of view. Okay, so let's try this at this moment. Okay, let's collectively, as everybody is here, let's try this strategy and think of a person right now in your mind, in your house, because that's what you're going to be associating with most, that tends to judge you a lot, that tends to be a critic, or tends to have an impact on you, and not a positive one. And now, as I repeat this, you have to repeat it in your head, which is interesting point of view. He or she has this point of view. So continue to say that. Interesting point of view. He or she has this point of view. Interesting point of view. He or she has this point of view. Interesting point of view. He or she has this point of view. Interesting point of view. He or she has this point of view. Interesting point of view. He or she has this point of view. Interesting point of view. He or she has this point of view. Interesting point of view, he or she has this point of view. Interesting point of view, he or she has this point of view. How does that feel to you right now? Does the energy get lighter? Say I for the people who feel that it gets lighter. Yeah. So this basically starts to, thanks Anita, Sanjana, Rajesh for your answers. And that's what it actually starts to do. So this is a very very good tool in order to continue to maintain a state of peace between yourself and the different family members at home at this point of time, because energies may clash, you all may not think the same way, but it is always great to remember that everybody does not have a similar point of view. There's this, if y'all have heard of Dr. Wayne Dyer, he speaks about how everything is an interesting point of view, and it is very egoistic to think that we know everything about the world. So the fact is we don't know everything about everything, and everybody has a right to looking at things at a different, in a different light completely. The next is that what are the other things that you can actually do? It reminds me that it is our minds that create the problems. And one of the surest ways, which I believe most of you may be doing at this point of time, is to meditate. If you give yourself 5 to 10 minutes to just meditate, it helps to clear out that space and the clutter that you kind of continue to create in your mind. Besides that, setting a goal is very, very important. Yesterday, I was chatting with a very close friend, family member kind of thing, and he asked me about getting bored, and what do I do when I get bored? It was also interesting to know that he otherwise also gets bored. But the thing is that in boredom is generally a sense of lack of direction or a purpose at that point of time. Most of us could be feeling bored at this time because we don't know where we are headed. And in order to help you with that, I have in place something called the Future Self Journal. The reason for a Future Self Journal is that the Future Self Journal begins to help you set a daily format for yourself. At the beginning of the day, when you set the Future Self Journal, it's about looking forward. That's step one, and that is most important, because the truth is, at the end of it all, maybe a month down the line, 2 months down the line, 3 months down the line, things will normalize and get back to, people will start getting out, and life will be, blooming again. But in this meanwhile of that 1 month or 21 days or 3 months, what are you planning to do with your time? And this Future Self Journal is what is going to kind of guide you if you practice it on a daily basis. I myself practice the Future Self Journal, and I would like you to answer the questions as we go along so that you get clarity on how we are supposed to use um, this model of the future self journal.